We are living in very, very scary times.
And a woman has been arrested by Cheshire Police in relation to an inaccurate information on social media.
Today, some other people have been given whopping great big terms in prison for social media posts.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online.
Scotland's new hate crime laws have come into force. Some people could be investigated by police if they misgender someone online.
How many people do you think were arrested in Britain for things they said on social media last year?
I have no idea.
3,300.
Really?
Police will be the source of truth and not social media.
The U.S. is a tough one because, we have the notion of the First Amendment.
There are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda, and whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence.
If people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block. It's really hard to govern today.
So my biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways.
The First Amendment is not absolute. It does not protect any single thing anyone says. And there are limits, and that's important. And what this committee has been trying to do for the last year and a half is to chill the federal government from monitoring what is going on social media.
And pretend that they know what our founding fathers meant when they drafted the Constitution. I use the word pretend because who the heck would know?
Choices that were made in adopting the Constitution have come to haunt us. Isn't it time to start thinking of a new Constitution?
Founders in 1787, if they came back in 2024, the first thing they would say, I think, is, our system did not work. What happened?
And how do you balance free speech versus crazy stuff that got people not to take vaccines, for example?
Right.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation.
Musk is sort of trying to pretend sort of freedom of speech is an absolute right. It's never been an absolute right.
Moderation is a propaganda word for censorship.
They want Elon Musk gone, X turned off, and freedom of speech stamped out.
Brazilian Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes instructed X to crack down on users accused of spreading misinformation. In his decision, Moraes said, quote, X shall refrain from disobeying any court order already issued.
Elon Musk really showing contempt for the government and its approach on this issue. What's your take?
He has absolutely no social conscience. Someone like that should be in jail and the key be thrown away. That bloke should not have a right to be out there on his own ideology platform.
This bloke thinks he's above the law and above common decency. This shouldn't be a matter of the law. It should be a matter of people doing the right thing.
To provide users with corrections to disinformation and misinformation. And Mr. Musk, you obviously don't know what I'm made of.
The privilege of using those words in that way should probably be taken from him.
Because some people in your crowd thought they might have been shadow banned by Facebook. I mean, for God's sakes!
This is the third election in a row in which Russia has tried to interfere to try to get Trump into the White House.
He's also got a brand new, very, very powerful tool, which is Elon Musk and X. We have Elon Musk talking directly to the Kremlin.
This is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
Deep fakes and manipulation of elections. That hurts democracy, and we think this law is sound and will be upheld in the courts.
It is much better to vaccinate so that the body is inoculated. Debunking is the same approach. Because disinformation relies on people passing it on to others.
So we're regularly making sure social media platforms are aware of the latest narratives. You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others if you are for providing misinformation out there.
Information isn't truth. Most information in the world is junk. Most information is lies and fantasies and fictions. This is why you need institutions like newspapers, like universities, like courts, who specialize in sifting through.
No right given to the
people of the United States is absolute, and that includes the right to free speech.
We do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth.
We are not trying to censor speech. We are simply trying to create factually correct information.
To try to correct the facts is to infringe on my right of free speech. Protective measures were taken to take down disinformation about vaccines and about the nature of the virus and about protective measures we could take, including masks. Again, something should be celebrated.
The government is now even relaunching a secretive pandemic-era spy agency to monitor social media.
We need some regulation on social media. That's the bottom line. They haven't done anything in 30 years.
We see this fight against social media platforms doing content moderation, and we see it empowered by Congress and people who are, powerful people, Elon Musk, et cetera. And what does that do? That makes our nation less safe.
I think that we can't be afraid of putting controls on social media in the name of First Amendment free speech.
You're going to pull something off the internet and collude with a social media platform to make sure Americans don't see it. Who determines what's false?
Congressman, we don't do that.
That's not true. That is not true. That is not what the court has found. This is not a Republican talking point. This is what the documents show.